A lot of hoopers only feel enough when they play well. That's not confidence. That's a fragile, dependent identity. Okay, and I've seen this a million times over in my career where players who would have this amazing games, right? They would be the centerpiece of the team, the leader, the go-to guy. They would communicate with everybody, they would be loud, right? They would just be the man. But as soon as that was taken away from them, as soon as they played poorly, it's like they were not existent, right? All this stuff that they were before, it's like it was not there anymore. They just hid, right? They just went into their bubble and just stopped communicating, stopped being a leader, stopped, you know, just being the go-to guy, the man on the team, just because they didn't play well. Okay, and that again is a fragile dependent identity, right? Because you're basing your self-worth on your performance. Okay, so strong, right? Strong independent identity, which is what we want as basketball players, are those that are built on values. And these fragile dependent identities are those that are built on results. And the fact is that most players actually have these dependent identities that are based on achievements and results. But with this also comes the problem, because the thing is that sometimes you win and sometimes you don't, right? Sometimes you play well and sometimes you don't. I mean, you may win rewards, you may win championships, you may be praised, but again, on the other side, you won't, right? So these are the results that are often out of your control, and if you base your identity, your whole identity, on those, then this is what we call the fragile performance-based self-worth, right? And with this comes a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, right? Big emotional instability. Okay, so this is what we don't want. What we do want is build a strong independent identity on values that is shaped by values. Okay, and this can be growth, discipline, integrity, resilience. I mean, any other values that you feel like align with who you are, okay, feel free to bring them up, right? This is how you bring a strong independent identity, and again, that is centered, that is grounded, that is unfazed no matter what results come up, right? No matter what you do on the court, right? This doesn't faze you, okay? You are unbothered, right? So this is what we want. Okay, it also brings a lot of emotional instability and a long-term success. And to truly break that pattern of our attachment to results, okay, we're actually going to do an exercise together. And this one's called the emotional freedom technique. Okay, it's very well known in the game of basketball, in sports overall. And again, it will help you reclaim your power, right? Because the thing is, again, we attach our self-worth to results, okay? And we want to detach from it, right? We want to play with that freedom, with that clarity, with that inner confidence, okay? And this exercise will help you master this and help you do just that. All right, so let's walk you through it. So you already know the drill. Take a piece of paper and a pen, okay? And the first thing you're going to do is draw a pyramid, right? So a big pyramid, and in this pyramid, there's actually going to be 9 boxes, okay? There's going to be a big box on the top, below that 3 boxes, and below that 5 boxes, okay? So overall 9 boxes, and make them as big as possible so you can actually start writing sentences in it. So after this, on the top box, which is actually our first official step, you're going to identify your attachment. Okay, so what is the result? What is the outcome that you feel most attached to, right? So you're gonna write it down on this top box. Okay, and the second step is about acknowledging the fear, right? So get honest about the fear. What would happen if this result or outcome doesn't happen, doesn't come true, right? What do I fear the most about falling short? How would I feel? What might I lose? Okay, so in those three boxes, right, you're gonna write three specific negative outcomes you associate with not achieving that goal. Okay, and the third step is actually expanding the possibilities. All right, so you're gonna write down five positives that could still move you forward as an athlete and human being, even if it looks different than what you imagine. Right, so five positives, right? What opportunities might arise? How could this challenge guide me towards growth and a new direction? What lessons could I learn? Okay, and how can I become stronger as an athlete, as and a human being? Okay, so think deeply about that and write it down. And finally, it's time to embrace that freedom through detachment, right? And to remember that you are not your outcome, okay? Your value is not tied to your results, to your achievements, right? To your stats. Okay, so embrace that detachment, because this practice is not about giving up on your goals, but rather to, release this attachment, this grip that they have over you. So, this emotional freedom technique, okay, is here to help you unlock new levels of confidence, right? So, you are not dependent on the scoreboard, okay? Because if you build your identity on performance, you will always chase confidence. But if you build it on values, then confidence will chase you. So, hit that subscribe button and let's keep building the player you always knew you could be. See you on the other side.